Good evening and welcome to TV47 Prime. Now, tonight, the nation is united in grief following the tragic fire at Utumishi Girls Academy in Gilgil, Nakuru County that has claimed the lives of several students and left many others injured, raising fresh concerns over safety in boarding schools. We also bring you the day's biggest stories in politics, business, sports and current affairs. This is TV47 Prime. My name is Peter Kamau. Our sign interpreter is Rhoda Nyamai. And we begin on a sad note tonight, where 16 students lost their lives at Utumishi Girls Senior Secondary School in Gilgil, Nakuru County, following a deadly fire that gutted one of the school's dormitories Thursday morning. And as Samira Mohammed reports, 79 other students were injured and rushed to St. Joseph's Hospital for treatment, with 5 later airlifted to Kenyatta National Hospital for specialized care.
Utumishi Girls Senior Secondary School in Gilgil, Nakuru County. A school located about 120 kilometers northwest of Kenya's capital, Nairobi. And on Thursday morning, the dormitory, usually a bustling residence for 220 students, became a scene of chaos after a fire incident left 16 students dead and dozens injured, casting a dark shadow over the institution.
To the families that lost their loved ones, we know that this is a very anxious moment, even as we account for the 16 so far identified as having passed on, I want to ask the people of Kenya that together we stand with the families, the Utumishi Academy fraternity.
In the rush to escape and save their schoolmates' lives, dozens of students sustained injuries and were rushed to St. Joseph's Hospital for treatment, where 21 were treated and discharged, while 5 others were airlifted to Kenyatta National Hospital for specialized care.
I ask everyone to be patient. We avoid speculation as to the cause of this tragedy. I also want to thank the multi-agency team of disaster response, starting from our county security team led by the county commissioner.
According to Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Ugamba, the fire broke out on the first floor of one of the dormitories, which was completely destroyed by the blaze.
At the time of the fire, responses were received from our security agencies, and we'll be talking more about it from STU, KDF, County Fire Brigade, and the Kenya Red Cross, among others. The response teams, of course, managed to put out the fire by about 3 a.m., but by then the damage had already been done.
This comes as the Kenya Red Cross says the fire incident was reported at around 3:30 a.m., prompting the swift deployment of rescue personnel.
There is also counseling that's happening or that's available here as we continue praying for those in the hospital so that they can heal and providing care and services for them.
Even as investigations into the inferno continues, preliminary reports indicate that the 16 students died as a result of stampede at the dormitory's exit during the incident. Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has promised that justice will be served to the affected families.
As a country, this is a serious tragedy. The investigations are going to be thorough. The Director of Criminal Investigation is here. The crime scene investigators are already here.
Fires are not uncommon in Kenyan boarding schools, with several deadly incidents reported in the recent years. Samira Mohammed for TV47, Gilgil, Nakuru County.
Now, still on the same story, a heavy cloud of grief has descended on Utumishi Girls Secondary School in Gilgil as heartbroken parents, relatives and friends gathered to mourn the students who lost their lives in Thursday's dormitory fire. Elizabeth Atieno reports on the pain, questions and anguish now echoing through the school compound.
Pain, sorrow and anger best describe the atmosphere at Utumishi Girls Senior School in Nakuru County. With hearts bleeding, eyes filled with tears, and mouths too heavy to speak, the affected parents could only turn to psychosocial support to help them through the darkest hour as they mourn their daughters.
So I tried to call the school, and then I made a decision to come all the way from Nairobi to Gilgil. And then once I arrived here, I think the situation, what I saw actually, the situation was very bad. I cannot comprehend as a parent. And then you see the mood with some of the parents who have lost their children. It's only that we pray to God to give all the parents that have lost their lives, to give them strength.
Among other first responding agencies, we did support with the evacuation and taking around 79 students to hospital around St. Joseph. As of now, 71 have been released, and one has been picked by the parents, and 7 are still admitted.
For the affected families, they now seek only two things: justice and answers. Even parents who managed to rescue their children continue to share the burden of grief with the bereaved families. For now, families are mourning lives lost and bright futures cut short by the inferno. Elizabeth Atieno, TV47 in Gilgil, Nakuru County.
Plans by the United States to set up for an Ebola quarantine facility in Kenya for American citizens exposed to the virus in DR Congo and Uganda have triggered public anxiety and legal battles. While U.S. officials say Kenya has already given written approval, lobby groups and health experts are now demanding full disclosure of the agreement. Stanley Nyaringita now reports.
Plans to set up a quarantine facility in Kenya for Americans exposed to Ebola in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, and Uganda could face a legal setback if the High Court rules in favor of Katiba Institute, which is seeking to stop the project despite it already receiving approval from the Kenyan government. In its petition, which names the Attorney General and the Cabinet Secretary for Health as respondents, Katiba Institute argues that the proposed facility is unconstitutional. The organization is now asking the Ministry of Health to submit within 24 hours a contingency plan detailing Kenya's preparedness. The Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union, KMPDU, has also criticized the Ministry of Health, accusing it of misplaced priorities for agreeing to host the facility, while local healthcare challenges remain unresolved. However, the government says it remains confident in its capacity and preparedness.
Anything that comes from an international request, it goes by the laws of Kenya. So we will not be breaking the law to have a conversation with partners, not just the US, but any other partner.
Kenyan government continues to protect the Kenyans, but as we continue to protect the Kenyans, we cannot abdicate our obligation and our duty in global health security. This is what we have been known for decades. That is why Kenya is the place where we've done malaria research. This is why Kenya is the place where more than 100 countries send cases.
This comes as the United States confirms plans to establish the facility in Kenya, according to a senior official from President Donald Trump's administration who spoke to TV47. The White House, however, maintains that while it is pursuing measures to prevent the spread of Ebola to the US, its main priority remains protecting its citizens.
Our number one obligation, we're involved in foreign policy, but even our foreign policy, the number one priority of our foreign policy is to protect the American people. We cannot and will not allow any cases of Ebola to enter the United States.
WHO Director General Dr. Tedros Adhanom is expected to engage public health officials in the Democratic Republic of Congo during his visit on Thursday, as the country continues to battle the Bundibugyo strain of Ebola, which currently has no approved vaccine. Stanley Nyaringita, TV47.
Low-income earners could soon take home more pay after President William Ruto announced a proposal to exempt Kenyans earning up to 30,000 shillings from paying income tax. The government says the move is aimed at easing the cost of living burden. This report has been prepared by Alvin Kithinji.
Speaking on Thursday at the National Prayer Breakfast in Nairobi, President William Ruto acknowledged that exempting Kenyans earning up to 30,000 Kenyan shillings from taxation will create a 40 billion Kenyan shillings revenue shortfall, but described the move as a necessary and innovative measure to caution low-income earners from economic hardships.
We are saying, in fact, that category should be moved to anybody who is earning 30,000 and less. They will not pay any taxes.
Addressing the recent transport strike, which prompted a meeting between him and public transport stakeholders in Mombasa, the president noted that the government has cautioned consumers against recent price increases by spending 28 billion Kenyan shillings on fuel price stabilization and foregone value-added tax over the past 2 months.
The actual price of diesel should be 273. It is 232. We're subsidizing 40 plus shillings for every litre.
President Ruto added that transport sector leaders understood the factual situation and voluntarily called off the suspended strike, dismissing allegations that they had been influenced.
I did not tell them to call off the strike. They looked at the facts. I know many people say they were influenced this way and that way. Maybe they were, by facts.
On sustainable ways of reducing the impact of global fuel shocks, the president said he and other regional leaders are determined to establish a local oil refinery, announcing that construction is expected to begin next year and will process crude oil from Turkana County, among other sources.
We have found the mechanism how to get our fuel in Turkana and those in the rest of the region to be refined here in our region.
The president underscored that these measures form part of a broader strategy aimed at building resilience and self-sufficiency in the country's economy.
In other news, Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi has pushed back against calls for further budget cuts, warning that slashing expenditure could disrupt essential services and stall key development projects. Appearing before the National Assembly Budget Committee, Mbadi defended the government's spending priorities amid tough questions over fuel prices and austerity.
Remember when
Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi says Kenya is already losing nearly 12 billion shillings monthly for the reduction of VAT on fuel from 16 to 8%, warning that scrapping the tax entirely would double the losses and create a major revenue gap within months.
It should be understood that now we are operating in very difficult times. But again, this government, I don't think there is any government which has faced the kind of challenges that this government has faced.
He further argues that fuel prices are determined by global market forces, demand and supply dynamics, accusing politicians of oversimplifying and politicizing the fuel debate.
Price is a function of demand and supply. Now, even if you are sourcing your fuel from India, leave alone the Middle East, India, whatever happens in Middle East affects the supply globally.
He defended the proposed budget estimates, insisting that most allocations target essential services and constitutional obligations, while warning lawmakers against populist cuts that could destabilize the economy.
Hasn't the government done something about cost of commodities? The cost of basic commodities, especially food, we have tried in the basic food commodities. We have tried to intervene, fertilizer, seeds.
Even as committee members pushed for austerity measures and reduced government expenditure, Mbadi maintained that the proposed financial plan seeks to strike a balance between economic stability, development priorities and public welfare.
That if the intention of Ndindi Nyoro was to, first of all, remove VAT on petroleum, there is no space for us to do that. So we cannot cut foreign expenditure, foreign travels, we cannot cut CDF, we cannot cut salaries. because the largest portion of recurrent expenditure of this budget is salaries.
The Treasury CS appeared before the committee on Thursday afternoon under intense pressure to explain how the government plans to balance rising public demands with shrinking fiscal space. Mike Kagwango, TV47, Nairobi.
Tonight, President William Ruto has moved to calm growing fears over the 2027 general election, pledging to respect the will of the people and ensure a free, fair and peaceful poll. Speaking during the 23rd National Prayer Breakfast, the president said the country's destiny rests with God, even as he pushed back against claims that Kenya is sliding into failure. Apollo Kamau reports.
With just 14 months left to the 2027 general election, President William Ruto has moved in to calm a restless nation during the National Prayer Breakfast over rigging claims made by a section of his allies, assuring Kenyans that he will respect the will of the people at the ballot and preside over a free and fair election.
Kama Mungu ameamua Ruto will get a second term, he will. Kama Mungu ameamua vingine, that's what will happen. And we will move on as a country. Yes. So relax. There's no problem. Those who believe they will divide this country, they will not. They will not succeed. They will fail, and fail spectacularly.
The president made the remarks amid a charged political atmosphere between his allies and the opposition over vote-rigging allegations, prompting the IEBC to intervene and warn politicians against misleading Kenyans and instilling fear.
And we are going to have elections, and they will be peaceful, and there will be no violence, and they will be free and fair.
I need no other argument. I need no other plea.
President Ruto used the prayer breakfast, which was kept by opposition leaders, to push back against claims that his administration has failed Kenyans.
Doesn't matter how many headlines say we are a failed state. Kenya is not and will never be a failed state.
The president, who is seeking a second term in office, says the country's transformation agenda is on track as he races to fulfill his 2022 election promises. Amid pressure from the opposition, he cited gains in the education, health, and affordable housing sectors, adding that government revenues have also improved. Despite the sustained appeal for national forgiveness and reconciliation, the absence of opposition politicians at the National Prayers Breakfast makes mockery of the national event in the run-up to next year's general election. Apul Kamau, TV47, at the Safari Park Hotel.
Kenyan leaders have renewed calls for unity, forgiveness and reconciliation during the 23rd National Prayer Breakfast held in Nairobi. But even as political, religious and civic leaders gathered under one roof, the limited presence of opposition figures reflected a country still wrestling with deep political and ideological divisions. Linda Alela with the details.
Ruto urged Kenyans to remain calm and avoid unnecessary anxiety over succession politics, saying his administration remained focused on delivering national transformation in the remaining period before the next elections.
Instead of planning on how to manage the drought, they have gone to Nyayo Stadium to pray. And worse, the president himself is there. But Mungu ni nani? I think the last 3 years, God has been gracious to our nation.
His deputy, Professor Kithure Kindiki, and his broad-based counterpart, Dr. Oburu Oginga, while serving the crowd light moments, reiterated that the government was committed to stability, development and continuity, stressing that political competition would not disrupt national unity.
My wife here, who has prayed, is also born again. So I'm well protected, even though you think age but numbers.
after praying, after fasting, after expressing our faith in the various facets, let us do what God wants us to do.
The two challenged leaders to choose peace over division, saying the country cannot progress without healing and restoring trust among Kenyans. The speakers emphasized that forgiveness is not weakness but strength.
I never ever dreamt that I will ever sit down with him across the table because I believed, maybe wrongly, that he stole our elections. But today we are together in a broad-based government.
I would go on my knees, pray for the death of Museveni, his family, his people who support him and all that. Museveni never died. On the contrary, he continued winning elections after elections. Those who were captains became generals. So I said, what kind of a prayer is this? But it was because of forgive and forget. How could I forget?
The speakers emphasized that forgiveness is not weakness but strength, urging leaders to lower political temperatures and focus on matters affecting ordinary citizens.
This nation will never go in the wrong direction. Doesn't matter how many headlines say we are a failed state. Kenya is not and will never be a failed state.
The 23rd National Prayer Breakfast ended with special prayers for national healing, peace and stability, as leaders pledged to promote reconciliation and work together for the country's future. The clarion call being forgiveness and reconciliation, especially at a time when the country is headed to a political heated moment. The leaders calling upon Kenyans to ensure that they stick to the element of unity and, of course, to ensure that they build the nation solidly. Reporting for TV47 in Safari Park Hotel here in Nairobi, I am Linda Alela.
We now revisit our top story. Now, following the deadly fire at Utumishi Girls Academy that claimed 16 lives, concerns are growing over safety standards in boarding schools across the country. Education stakeholders are now calling for urgent action to prevent another national tragedy. This report has been prepared by Meshak Moluse.
According to the Safety Standards Manual for schools in Kenya, dormitories should remain clean, well-ventilated and spacious to ensure a safe learning environment. Kenya has witnessed several deadly school dormitory fires over the years, raising concerns about students' safety.
Sending a child to school should never be a life or death choice. Yet, more Kenyan parents are afraid because school tragedies are becoming a worrying pattern instead of rare events.
In 1991, a fire at St. Kizito Secondary School in Etigania, Meru County, claimed the lives of 19 girls. This was followed by the Bombolulu girls' tragedy in Mombasa in 1998, which claimed 26 lives. And in 2001, 67 boys died in Kenya's deadliest school fire at Changuli Secondary School in Machakos County. Other incidents occurred at Endarasha Boys in 2010, claiming the lives of 2 students. Asumbi Girls in Homa Bay County in 2012, where 8 students died, and Moi Girls Nairobi in 2017, where 10 students lost their lives. In 2024, a fire at Hillside Endarasha Academy killed 21 pupils. Now, the latest tragedy occurred in May 2026 at Utumishi Girls Academy in Gilgil, leaving 16 students dead and 79 others injured.
Ogamba's statement that 350 schools have been closed since 2024 after the Endarasha Hillside fire is too little, too late, and ignores the recent 2026-2027 budget report, which shows the Quality Assurance Department is badly underfunded and lacks resources.
Now, key safety measures in schools include beds should be spaced at least 1.2 meters apart, while pathways should measure not less than 2 meters. Schools must stop bed sharing and admit learners according to dormitory capacity. Dormitory doors should be at least 5 feet wide, open outwards and remain unlocked from the outside whenever learners are inside. Every dormitory must have clearly marked emergency exits for quick evacuation during emergencies. Now, windows should not have grills and must open easily outwards. Fire extinguishers and fire alarms should be installed at accessible points within dormitories. Teachers and school administrators are required to conduct regular spot checks before learners retire to bed. Schools should maintain accurate daily roll calls and improve security patrols within dormitory areas. Also, hygiene inspections should be conducted regularly to ensure clean living conditions. Bunk beds must be strong and fitted with side grills to prevent learners from falling. Education experts say proper implementation of these safety guidelines will help reduce accidents, improve security, and create safer learning environments for students in boarding schools across the country.
For instance, Migos Ogamba has failed to establish the Education Standards and Quality Assurance Council. That is Section 64 of the Basic Education Act.
Elimu Bora Working Group is now calling for the resignation of Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Ogamba, alleging failure to implement measures that would have protected students' lives in schools.
Final preparations for this year's Madaraka Day celebrations are now complete in Wajir town as residents look ahead to President William Ruto's address on Monday. Let's now cross over live to Sheila Chelangat for the latest.
Right, good evening, Peter. Over 16 hours, over 600 kilometers later, we are in Wajir County, which will be hosting the Madaraka Day celebrations this particular year. Of course, it is a first for this county and, of course, the northern region at large. And, of course, we were able to visit the Wajir Stadium, and, of course, the final preparations are in top gear. Now, Kwambia, the stadium is looking so good, and it will host over 10,000 people on that particular day. That is on Monday. But right now, I am joined by the Deputy Governor of Wajir County, that is Mr. Ahmed Mohammed, to just tell us what are the final progress, what is the progress, the final preparations, what this means for Wajir in general. Bwana DG, Karibu next to me. Just quickly, what is the progress like, and how far are we in terms of hosting the Madaraka Day celebrations?
Thank you, Sheila and team. Let me take this opportunity first to welcome all of you to Wajir County, and particularly Wajir Municipality, the headquarters of Wajir County. Probably this is your first time being here. Were it not for these Madaraka Day celebrations, most of you, probably a good number of you, the visitors here, may not have come. So tunawaambia karibuni sana kwanza. Secondly, as per your question, everything is set, it's all systems go. We will hold inshallah, the celebrations with no hitches. Everything, all infrastructure needed are in place. You must have visited the stadium, the venue of the very event. We will also have the state lodge for luncheons, which is equally ready. Everything is set. Karibuni sana.
All right. And in terms of, what it means for the people of Wajir, it's the first time we're seeing such a celebration in the northern region. What does this mean to all of you?
This has massive and monumental significance to us. It is a game changer for us. It is an impetus, gives us an impetus for strategic, mental and paradigm shifts. It is a deep symbolic validation considering the historical happenings and occurrences in this region. It has a lot of significance, be it historical, socio-economic importance, and not forgetting political significance as well. Historical because it's the first time in the history of Wajir County, or the region at large, for such a Madaraka Day or national events to be held here in Wajir County. Historical in the sense that this was traditionally held either in Nairobi or some traditional strongholds, so to speak. So the fact that it's now becoming rotational gives a historic significance to us. Socio-economic, to the effect socially, we are moving away from the institutionalized media lenses of terming this region as a region of insecurity, a region of hardship, to a region of bustling business opportunities, a region of cultural hotspots, not hotspot, melting pot rather, the right word, to showcase that and to showcase our business opportunities as well. Political in the sense that this region is now going from the periphery to the national discourse at the center, So to that extent, a lot is changing in Wajir town and Wajir County. All those significance are of great importance to us.
And I must agree with you because the ride here was quite a smooth one. And so last question is that we've seen hotels are fully booked. So I'm imagining that there's a lot of impact, that has come with hosting the Madaraka Day celebrations. Perhaps what are these positives that we're seeing after, for hosting the Madaraka Day?
Great. As I said, the economic sense of importance is there, huge ones for that matter. As you said, we have a lot of roadworks that have been ongoing in Wajir County for the last 2 months. And quite a number of roads have either been recapitated or new roads are being built to the standards of bitumen at a space which is quite not normal in Kenya. Roads being done within 21 days. Quite significant progress in that case. We have seen the stadium, a 10,000-seater stadium, state-of-the-art stadium for that matter, that gives us strategic importance to our youth and sports development. It's a 10,000-seater, it has a running track, many other opportunities also come with it. We have also a significant level of hybrid solar street lighting, which is ongoing with Wajir town so far. This gives a new impetus to 24-hour economy for the town and equally improves not just the economy in terms of 24 hours, but equally the business level. Certainly, all these people who are coming to Wajir town today, tomorrow, the day after, for the next few days, will come and spend in Wajir towns, not just in the hotels, but also in our restaurants, in our cuisines, which are exotic, by the way. I want you to experience that as well.
Yes, we are very much.
A number of opportunities that come. Okay. It's an opportunity for us to showcase our cultures as well. Remember, Wajir, as I said, is a melting pot for many cultures. Karibuni wote.
Asante sana Bwana DJ, and of course we are waiting to take back, the camel milk and, the camel meat back to Nairobi. And of course, for this particular Madaraka Day celebrations, the theme will be centering around education and how, we see equality in it as well. And so for many side events that would be happening this week, we would be bringing them live to you on TV47. So you better stay tuned for that. But for now, let me take it back to you in studio, Peter Kamau. Of course, I am Sheila Chelangat, live from Wajir County.
Sheila Chelangat from Isin to bring us camel milk and meat from Wajir. And on that note, we'll take a short commercial break. We'll be right back shortly. Stay with us.
Football fans, the world stops from the 11th of June to the 19th of July 2026. Watch all 104 FIFA World Cup football matches live on Azam TV. Get your Azam TV decoder today for 1,000 shillings for a decoder only, or 2,500 shillings for a decoder and a dish, and enjoy unmissable football action from the comfort of your home. Visit any Azam TV authorized dealers countrywide today or call us on 0709 844 000. Azam TV, the official broadcast partner of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Kisha, empowering women, fueling prosperity through networking, entrepreneurial training, and financial support. Start your Fanny Kisha journey with equity today.
As part of this year's Madaraka Day celebrations, the Ministry of Education, in conjunction with the National Thematic Celebrations Committee, will host a series of side events ahead of the main national celebrations. Under the thematic week theme, Education, Skills, and the Future, TV47 brings you live coverage from Wagberry Primary School, Wajir County, on Friday 29th and Sunday 31st May 2026. Join the national conversation on national leadership and skills development and Elimu Mashinani, featuring key stakeholders shaping the future of education in Kenya. The events will be graced by His Excellency Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki on Friday and His Excellency President Dr. William Samoei Ruto on Sunday. Don't miss these special live broadcasts only on TV47.
Indomie mau tamu, Indomie mau tamu, Indomie mau tamu, Indomie mau tamu. Ushakubali vibe ni tamu, kila place ni legit jo, alafu korogo ni quick na tasty, anakuma wo una mix nyepesi, no stressing, chaji iwe nyama, smoky, skuma, ingo, homa yai, imetojo na mabesti, utamu jo alafu, jwani easy na ni tasty, vibe una ni life ni motamu bila stressing. Indomie mau tamu, Indomie mau tamu, Indomie mau tamu, mau tamu, quick and easy, vibe uplifting na flavor mbichi, bei rahisi, ina nice one time ina donjo, acha nikupanga, acha nikushow vile na control. Indomie na flavors, simeja kwa bumbu, sunda maji ongeza, weka kitu kwa jiko, meka mali kwa sinia unatandaza, mixing changanya, vibe ni mau tamu. Indomie, furahia mlo mtamu.
Safer, stronger, together. Azam TV, your favorite pay TV, just got even better. Effective 1st March 2026, we have added 5 amazing new TV channels to keep you entertained day and night. AMC Movies and Nolly Africa for the best of Nollywood movies and series. Music Box Hits and Music Box Dance for non-stop music hits and dance. And Manchester United TV for football fans. More movies, more music, more sports, all in one place.
Welcome back. You're watching TV47 Prime with me, Peter Kamau, and our sign interpreter is Rhoda Nyamai. Now, emotions ran high at Montezuma Mona Lisa funeral home after the family of murdered Kasarani gospel singer Rachel Wandeto left without her body following a dispute over burial documents. What began as a day of mourning quickly descended into confusion, tension, and heartbreak. Chichi Josephine now reports.
Thursday morning, a somber mood engulfed Montezuma Mona Lisa funeral home after the family of slain Kasarani gospel singer Rachel Wandeto was forced to leave the facility without remains following a dispute over the burial permit.
Tulitoka nyumbani saa 11 Kabumbu, tukaelekea Monterisa Mochari na tukafika huko. Wakati tulipoendelea tukingonjea ndio tufikiwe, tulishangaa sana. Maana tulisikia kuna honda ya koti.
The burial, which was scheduled to take place in Kerugoya on Thursday, May 28th, took a tragic turn after her alleged husband of 14 years delayed the process of a burial documentation, leaving relatives stranded and forcing them to proceed with a memorial service without the body.
Na tumekuja na ngari ya kubeba mwili bila sanduku au mwili ni maua tu peke yake. Tumefanya matayarisho yote ya mazizi. Tulikuwa tumechimba chimo kama kawaida, tukanunua sanduku kama kawaida, tukanunua maua kama kawaida, gari ya mwili tulikuwa tumelipa kama kawaida, gari za kubeba watu tulikuwa tumelipa zote kawaida. Chakula tumeandaa chakula nyingi hata hatujui zitakuwa namna gani.
Wandetto, popularly known as Rachel Muthoni, succumbed to severe burns injuries at a Kenyatta National Hospital following a petrol attack in Mwiki on May 16, 2026.
Mila tamaduni ya Kikuyu tulikuwa tumeshimba chimo kama utamaduni wa Kikuyu, lakini wakati tutakaporudi huko nyumbani ndipo tutakuja kukaa chini kama familia ndio tujue vile tutafanya shimo tutalifanya tukingojea siku ile ya koti kuamua kesi, kwa sababu tukishimba chimo na kukosa kusikwa mtu kwa Kikuyu hiyo ni laana.
Chichi Josephine, TV47.
The government has launched a major national drive aimed at reducing maternal and newborn deaths across the country. President William Ruto today unveiled the Ewene Acceleration Plan 2026 to 2028 at State House, Nairobi, with medical equipment set to be distributed to hundreds of health facilities in 20 counties. Michelle Mwangi prepared this report.
Tumpigie makofi tafadhali.
24 heavy-duty trucks loaded with diagnostic kits and maternal equipment up at State House, Nairobi.
Nakuru, West Pokot.
This visual showcase marked the official rollout of the Ewene Acceleration Plan, an initiative aimed at reducing maternal and newborn deaths across the country.
Because during the Linda Mama program, in 18 months, only 5 billion was paid out. SHA has tripled this to 17.5 billion.
According to the World Health Organization, Africa accounts for 70% of global maternal deaths, while in Kenya, at least 16 mothers and 90 newborns lose their lives during childbirth.
Niliweza kupoteza mtoto. Nilimwaga damu nyingi sana.
It is a pain shared by fathers too, highlighting the urgent gaps in emergency obstetric response.
My wife has been pregnant 3 times. But my wife has lost 2 of our newborns.
County governments are also committing nearly half of their budget to health as local leaders come under pressure to expand infrastructure, maternity beds, and digital tracking systems.
We have consistently accounted for 47% of our county budget goes to health.
Systematic negligence also came under heavy criticism as mothers demanded a shift in how medical staff treat women in labor.
The nurse that was attending was actually having lunch, and she actually said, "You can wait in that room as I finish so I can come and attend to you."
Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale called on all 47 counties to fully support the initiative.
We now have both the political will and the technical pathway to ensure that no mother or newborn is left behind.
With phase 1 of the Ewene Acceleration Plan aiming to equip 20 counties to handle complex maternal cases at the grassroots levels.
As President, I reaffirm today that no woman in Kenya should die while giving life.
The president also shared his personal experience of losing his firstborn son, saying the pain of maternal and newborn loss should never be normalized.
Mama Rachel here and I lost our firstborn son. So it's not something that is perfect.
The launch of the Ewene Acceleration Plan marks a major step in Kenya's efforts to reduce maternal and newborn deaths, while also improving quality healthcare services for both women and children across the country. Michelle Mwangi, TV47, State House, Nairobi.
Thank you, Michelle Mwangi, for that story. Now, drivers across the country will from June 1st face a new digital system for enforcing minor traffic offences as the National Transport and Safety Authority moves to modernize road law enforcement. Under the system, motorists will receive traffic fines physically or electronically through cameras and digital monitoring tools without automatic court appearances. For minor offences, NTSA says the move will boost accountability, transparency and road safety.
Government will now operationalize a modernized enforcement framework for minor traffic offences under Section 117 and 117A of the Traffic Act, Cap 403, effective 1st June 2026. These notifications may be served in several ways, including personal delivery by police officers, affixing the notice to the vehicle, or electronically via SMS, email, or approved digital traffic enforcement platforms. Motorists are therefore strongly encouraged to ensure their contact details in the NTSA registration systems are accurate and up to date. Each notification will contain key details such as the nature of the offense, the date, time, and location it occurred, the prescribed penalty, payment instructions, and response deadline.
It's time for business news. The government has moved to protect local rice farmers in Mwea, ordering immediate purchase of all available stocks, even as it defends controversial food imports as necessary to stabilize prices. Agriculture PS Paul Rono says the state will prioritize local produce before importing to cover deficits, while also warning cartels accused of exploiting farmers through subsidized fertilizer programs.
Tuko na mpango kununua mchele ile inaitwa mill rice through KNTC. So, kwa nini wakulima wanaumia wale? Si wakulima wameteswa sana. Na Kiingereza mingi, Kiswahili mingi. Na tunaongea lugha kubwa. Wakulima they want simple things. Nunua mchele yake aende kwa shamba asalishe zingine.
Let's now head over to the lighter side of news, sports. Football fans across East and Southern Africa are set for an exciting football spectacle after Azam TV was officially unveiled as the official broadcaster of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The global tournament is scheduled to take place from June 11th to July 19th across the United States, Canada and Mexico. Azam TV will air all 104 matches live in high-definition format, giving football lovers across the region full access to the world's biggest football event. Africa will be represented by several top nations, including Senegal, Morocco, Egypt, Tunisia, Algeria, DR Congo, Ivory Coast and South Africa, among others, as they battle for global glory on football's biggest stage. Meanwhile, Cape Media, through TV47, will provide daily live updates and comprehensive coverage through the tournament period across the 3 host countries.
Excited to see the hype starting for the first game, and the momentum has already been set from our studio as well as our production team is out there in the market to make it the best experience for the public.
Roadshow tunaanza tarehe 1 mwezi June. Tunaanza pande ya Mombasa. Tutaifanya kwa muda wa siku 45 mpaka World Cup iishe. So tunataka kuanza mapema ili tufanye ile awareness creation mwanzo, alafu tuendelee throughout the World Cup.
You know that if it's Wednesday in Kenya, it's already Thursday in Australia, okay? So if you're watching any match that is probably being played in that country, then you have to adjust your timings to that. You have to know the geography of the world in the southern hemisphere, in the northern hemisphere. So it's not a big deal about what time the game is being played, especially what time it is being broadcast to you in your country. But this is going to be live. So if you want to watch it, if it's 4 a.m. in your country, remember, it's also a very bad time for somebody else somewhere else.
Well, first of all, super proud of the fact that as a country, we will have the opportunity to watch all the 104 matches right at the comfort of our living rooms, whether you live in Lamu, Mombasa, Nairobi, Kisii, Migori. You'll have an opportunity to watch all these matches live.
Peter Kamara, Moses Kamau, Dennis Omolo and Levis Ogutu headlined the final 14-man squad set to represent the country at the upcoming CAF B Zone V Nations qualifiers in Kampala, Uganda. The tournament will run from May 31st to June 6th, with the team expected to travel on Sunday ahead of the competition. Meanwhile, setter Felix Otieno and middle blocker Felix Ogembo have been dropped from the final squad following the last round of selections. The team now turns its attention to final preparations as they seek a strong showing at the regional championship in Uganda.
The team is well prepared for the tournament, considering the training that we have had for the last 20 days, and we expect nothing less than a win. We are ready for this championship, despite East Africa is always a tough zone, but we are ready for the championship to bring the win back to East Africa as our family.
2026 Rhino Charge will take place this Saturday in Samburu County. 65 vehicles will undergo scrutineering on Friday ahead of the 37th edition of the annual race. Teams to watch include Gecko Tribe Chargers, Zabarau Hills on Wheels, AK-44, Hog Charge Team, Charging Hippos, Smiling Shenzis and Frying Squad. The 2025 overall winner was Team Huzi in car number 33, driven by Jeremy Holly. The event raises funds that are channeled to conservation projects across Kenya, key ecosystems and water towers.
Samburu is definitely a nice area. The whole north actually is always very interesting. We enjoy traveling to the north quite a lot. There are always very interesting surprises. Samburu is an amazing place to go. Those areas of Matthews Range or Namunyak or Wamba or, as you pass Archer's Post, it's to go to destination for sure. So we are very excited. We are expecting a very challenging charge.
Panamanian President Jose Raul Mulino gave La Roja a palace send-off, handing the national flag to defender Eric Davis before Panama's second FIFA World Cup campaign. Panama qualified for only its second Men's World Cup after beating El Salvador 3-0 in November with goals from Cesar Blackman, Eric Davis and Jose Luis Rodriguez. The only previous appearance came at Russia 2018 when the team exited in the group stage. Panama opens Group L against Ghana at BMO Field in Toronto on June 17th. They face Croatia on June 23rd before meeting England on June 27th at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford. And that's where we bring a stop to TV47 Prime tonight. My name is Peter Kamau. Thank you so much for staying with us. Our sign interpreter is Rhoda Nyamai. Have a blessed night. Till next time.